Phil and Simon have invested all their savings on a renovation project in Tuscany in the hope that they'll be able to sell it on for a big profit, enough to pay off their mortgage back home. But they started work without having enough money to pay for the builders, and they still have to raise the money that they're short of. It's January and 5 months since the start of the build. The exteriors are now finished, but so is Phil and Simon's cash. Having spent 6 weeks in the UK deciding how to raise an extra £30,000, they're back in Tuscany and discovering the unsupervised build hasn't gone to plan.
The skylight's in the wrong place, and that was the one thing we kept going on and on about to Mauro, the geometer. Make sure the skylight is in this side, so we've got a fantastic view of the Apennines. We've got a great view of the church, but it's the wrong way around, so...
For a start, it's too high. We wanted it to lower down so you could actually, like, look out of it. But at the moment, you have to stand on a crate to look out of it. And it needed to be on this side of the wall so that we got the view of the mountains. They agreed they put it in the wrong place, and it was their fault. So they offered to put in a new one, free of charge, which works out quite well in our favour, actually. Because it means we've actually got two for the price of one.
Not being on site has caused problems, but they needed to get their application for an Italian mortgage in.
It's only £30,000 that we need to get the place finished, which doesn't seem a lot in the scheme of how much we've already invested. But it's a final push. We need this money to come through in order to get it finished.
By running out of money at this stage, they've lost a developer's most valuable commodity: good builders.
The builders, unfortunately, had to leave site because we haven't got any money in place to pay them for the second phase of work that they need to come back and do, which is a worry.
Phil and Simon's life savings are tied up in a half-finished building thousands of miles from home. While they wait to hear about the mortgage, they do what work they can.
The more we can do ourselves, the less we have to get builders to do. That is the key to it.
It'd be nice if I could earn £3,500 a week, but I certainly can't, and I'd rather save it. So this is the way of doing it. Where's me brick?
When the money finally comes through, we can get the builders in and get it finished quickly. We'll get there in the end, hopefully. This is the last wall now.
So we get this finished, and then that's all done.
But after 2 weeks of hard graft, there's bad news. Simon's career break to do this project could jeopardise their Italian mortgage.
Yeah. So it looks as if I've not been earning for 4 months. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I haven't been earning for 4 months, so the banks want to know incomes for the last so many months. So we've told them all about that. That could be the only stumbling block, but we'll just have to wait and see on that.
The worst outcome is if we can't get a mortgage at all, in which case we can't finish it.
In Teglia, Phil and Simon's project is also hanging by a thread. They started without enough money in place and now desperately need an Italian mortgage to finish their project. So Simon has cut short his career break and gone back to work in Darlington to provide proof of income and get some money coming in.
I just think, oh, I would rather be there than here working, but got to pay the bills, haven't we? And that's what it's all about.
Phil is left alone in Italy to do all the work himself.
It's a final push. It's what we need to get the place finished. I know Simon's very worried at the moment about it. If it doesn't come through, it means we can't do it. It's the end of the dream, as it were. It'll obviously take me a bit longer than it would take Simon, and certainly a lot longer than it would take a team of builders. But we'll get there in the end, hopefully.
And it's a painstaking and lonely process.
Well, I've been here just in this room, which started to drive me a bit stir-crazy, but finally got through it. Originally, these walls were all like this, where they were all pitted in this cement, so that all needed chipping out, and then we've had to repoint it all. So each wall took 2 weeks, basically, and the remaining 2 walls are going to be plastered to try and give it a bit of a contrast. First, it was our dream to work together and build and transform the place, and it does take it away when you're working by yourself. Half of that dream is stuck in England. Simon's working.
Their only hope is that the mortgage will come through, and soon.
Hopefully any time this week we'll be hearing back from them, and as soon as we do, it's full steam ahead. We can get the plumbers appointed and the electricians back on site, and then once that's done we'll get the builders back in to do the rendering.
Phil remains optimistic, but getting a foreign mortgage is never going to be as quick and easy as at home. That's if they can get it at all. Over in Teglia, Phil and Simon are still in deep. They spent their entire £100,000 life savings, but 8 months into the build, they're still hopeful they'll get the £30,000 they need to finish it. But Phil receives a bombshell from the Italian bank.
Unfortunate news that the mortgage hasn't come through.
I've only been back for 2 months. Certain parts of the approval rating system is the fact you've got to be in full-time employment for 3 to 6 months. It's worrying. I try to put it to the back of my mind and think it should be okay, but if it doesn't go ahead, then it's our money, a lot of money tied up over there that we could use elsewhere, basically. Short-term, what is it? Short-term pain, long-term gain? I think that's what they say somewhere.
Simon takes the weekend off and heads to Italy for a crisis meeting with Phil.
I've just got to tell Phil he's been working hard on the barn and basically the money's out there ready to get the next part done. I'm pretty peeved off, basically.
When do you think this money's going to come through?
Well, they've told me that they can't process it till June, so you're not going to get it till at least July, at least the back end of June, beginning of July.
We were hoping to get it finished by June so that it could be on the market. Best time to sell a place like this would be in the summer, which means, unfortunately, if it's not even going to be, if the work's not even going to commence till this summer, then it's not likely to sell till the following summer, which is summer 2007, which is a long way off, really.
But Simon thinks if push comes to shove, they can still get their money out quickly and make a profit.
No, I was just thinking on the way over, on the flight, whether to, try and get a price from the estate agents as it is.
What, just not finish it?
And see what we can get for it. When the windows and doors are all in and it's a finished shell, and see exactly how much it's worth and how much we've spent on it so far. We know exactly what we've spent on it at the moment and how much we can get for it and what the profit margin can be in it.
Put it on the market straight away.
Mm.
Phil and Simon face a crucial decision. Do they sell their project unfinished and get their money out, or hang in there for the huge profits they set out to make?
All the money's going to be tied up in this place. We can't do anything else.
I know. This is what we've got to decide what we want to do and when you want to take the money out of this place.